don't blame them for getting rid of the DK, John. We saw what TNC could do with that Dragon Knight. They'll ban out the Timber instead, and
Oh,
there's the Dragon Knight coming out.
oh boy. Yeah, that's a that's another ridiculous hero that we've seen yesterday. It's just it's maddening that we've seen that hero go 1v5 and still somehow draw even.
I
Or
love
at the
it.
very least, it takes like a solid half minute for it to die 1v5, and that's ridiculous, especially at 30 to 40 minutes in. It's just super durable nowadays, and I think it really fits in with the Doom. You've got that great control. You have two great initiators now in these two heroes. Very durable as well. The Doom probably takes a bit more time to really become ultra durable in the late game. He takes some item investments and probably a few armor items, but you do naturally pick those up as the Doom anyway. So you've got this really solid lineup from TNC. This lineup that is going to be pretty hard to kill, especially since Fnatic is mainly physical damage right now. With the Venge and the Drow in place, they're going to need some magic damage to eat through their armor. They go to Tusk, which is a great piece of control, a great piece of initiation, and it can certainly let the damage out with Tag Team, but it's not quite the magic damage you're looking for. It's going to have some scaling issues, I guess. If you let the game go a bit too long, you certainly have to really build up in your Drow just to burn through. The Lina would have been great for Fnatic, but again, TNC did pick that up first. Would have allowed them some way of going through that early tankiness that the heroes TNC does have.
Certainly would have. Still, though, Fnatic will have two other options in their draft to try and deal with this DK later on. I'm sure they've watched the replays of what TNC has done with this Dragon Knight, and they'll probably be very prepared for it. Though TNC will go into the Earthshaker, fair enough. So a hero that hasn't really popped up much over the past couple days. Not really sure how it's going to go in this meta. I imagine it still will be very viable. Overall, it does give them some good teamfight control, some good roaming ability with this hero, so I don't mind it.
Yeah, overall, I mean, Shaker did receive some nerfs in this patch, but overall it still performs pretty much the same. And it's going to be interesting to see TNC run this. It just gives them so much more wombo combo as well, so much more control. They already have great control with the Doom and DK. Like, especially if the Doom does eat a Centaur with a Stomp, you already have that great piece of control. Winter Shaker on top, TNC can certainly force the issue a lot. I like that pick up against the Tusk as well. So you're going to have to watch out for your snowball targets now. And if you take more than one hero with you, adds the Tusk, because Shaker will punish that clump up. So it's a great pick from TNC, and it's also very in line with the rest of your team. All the heroes are kind of red might.
They certainly are, John. You have been enjoying these color schemes as of late, so it's always good for you to point those out, sir. Of course, Fnatic more blue and dark at the moment. Fourth pick for them. They are using a lot of reserve time for this fourth pickup, but it will be the Omni Knight, which has been a very popular kind of offlane to have for multiple teams now. Just very difficult to deal with, especially in those engagements when you pop that Guardian Angel. Basically, the team fight stops for the opposing team. So I do like that being picked up. TNC, they'll get rid of the OD, and Fnatic, one more ban for them. But it does feel like, if I look back at Fnatic's draft, it looks slightly lacking, doesn't it? It's almost like they don't have enough teamfight control or just something big, like an AoE ability. It feels a little bit lacking.
Yeah, it definitely is. You compare that to what TNC has for the Shaker, with the Doom with Lina, it certainly isn't up to par there. They have much stronger single target potential with the Tusk, just jumping into someone, getting that simple gank going. And they do have a sort of combo breaker with that Omni Knight, so they can stall out a fight, but they really need something to tie it in together here for their last pick. They have been running the puck a lot. Now, that could have been a support puck. We weren't around to watch those games, but they have been running the puck. That is an option they could fall back to. However, the meta has certainly fit support puck much more. We haven't actually seen too many core pucks, so I'm not sure if that's really going to be the pick. The OD would have been great if TNC didn't ban it out. Fortunately, they did see that it would have been too good against the heroes they had, particularly Doom, Dragonite. They do not deal well with the OD. Um, there aren't too many heroes left. Like, perhaps the Queen of Pain, but that's a hero that we really haven't seen in a long time. It does give them the needed burst they need, really need to eat through these really tanky heroes. Gives them great wide damage, It's just not really strong in control. They go with the Ember instead. So
Okay,
that
fair
that
enough.
gives them some control and good magic damage. It's it's it doesn't quite pull away the doubts I have about their team fight capability, but it does give them a way of eating through the DK and Doom at the very least. So you have a way of handling those heroes. Their team fight is still somewhat lacking, at least in terms of overall control.
If I may, though, John, that's an Ember Spirit going into a Doom. Uh, I mean, if he gets doomed, he can't do anything. Of course, the Earthshaker's there as well to just keep him locked down. You've got plenty of stuns there, so this isn't going to be the easiest Ember game in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, Fnatic must be feeling quite confident to pick this up. Fair enough, we'll see what they can get done with it. Of course, he will have the assistance of the Omni Knight behind him to try and make sure he stays alive, but it's just the Doom I'm worried about the most for this Ember. I imagine
Yeah,
the thing is,
it's
like,
a
this Doom is going to have multiple targets, though, right? Like, you still want to get the Omni Knight as well. You don't want to really leave him undoomed throughout the team fight.
yeah,
So,
it's really down to the prioritization of targets here for TNC. I'd say you might still be better off doing the Omni Knight regardless. Like you can still stun lock the Ember Spirit with the Shaker, with the DK. You know, it's not going to be too hard. I mean, it's still going to be a challenge. It's an Ember Spirit. It's going to be very slippery if you don't have anything like a Hex. But the priority should still be the Omni Knight in these big team fights. Again, we've seen the effect of an Omni Knight just doesn't die, and as a consequence of that, the rest of the team doesn't die, which could cause issues for TNC. Their lineup really wants to take these team fights and take control of the map that way, just shut down the enemy team in a big fight. They know Fnatic isn't quite as strong in that setting, although if you give the Drow enough time, I guess you could just eat everyone alive. We've seen that a couple of times as well.
well, TNC, 10 seconds reserve time left. They're not even going to use that 10 seconds. They will go into the Abaddon again. And we've seen KP on this hero multiple times. How are they going to lane all this, though? The Armel's in the mid laner, fair enough. Gabby, going to be on the DK, but who's in the off? Is it going to be the Doom? Is it going to be the Abaddon? I have not seen a support Doom, so I imagine it must be a position 5.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean support Doom was a thing for a while.
Okay.
It escalates in the jungle. This meta definitely fits 3 cores, 1 semi-core. Doom certainly can farm up like a semi-core. So you've got that possibility now for TNC. It is slightly worrying because we have seen KP play the Abaddon, and to be frank, it was not great. It was kind of terrible the way that lane went. It's just not a good time anymore. You can't deny yourself, so when you drop really low, you're kind of just forced to go back or die, which gives the enemy team gold, slows down your EXP gain, yada yada yada. It's just not a good story so far. It's going to be interesting to see who exactly they pair up with KP, or if they're just going to toss him alone in the off lane. Either way, I feel like Abaddon core on the off is just really lackluster at the moment. We saw TNC try it a couple of times. It hasn't worked out. Perhaps this time it will. They do have much more aggressive supports that could pick up the pace here. It's still a rather strange last pick, in my opinion.
Well, it seems like they've been really sacrificing KP a lot in these games that they've been having. I suppose we'll see what TNC's game plan is here. They probably just want to have the DK be unkillable again, and of course the Abaddon does assist in with the Aphotic Shield. But I guess we'll have to find out. So TNC versus Fnatic, game number 1. The tip's already going out towards March on the Doom. Of course, Gabby is going to be in the safe lane on that DK. He is going to have March there as support. But you talked about it before. March will probably be jumping between the lane and jungle quite a bit, trying to get that farm up himself. Of course, Armel in the mid lane on the laner is going to be up against Moon on that Ember. And up at the top lane, we'll have KP on that Abaddon. For now, he will have Tims there as support on the Earthshaker. And it looks like Fnatic may run a tri-lane. They've got DJ there on the Tusk. You'll see Jabs on the Venge. And of course, 23 Savage will be on the Drow. Looks like Fnatic will just do this 2 protect 1 in the top lane. Just make sure this Drow can get as much farm as possible, because the lineup is very, very reliant on 23 Savage having a good game.
Yeah, not only that, but a tri-lane like this can really punish a hero like Abaddon. He does not have great early game presence. His level 1 to 2 are really, really bad right now, considering that he can't just get himself denied for free. So KP's gonna have to watch his spacing here, and he's gonna have to be very conscious about the physical damage output that Fnatic does have with these 3 heroes.
Well, 2 for 2 bounty trade. Very even start between both these teams. Like KP already getting chased down by jabs on the Venge. And we will see Tim's going for the block on the creep wave. Of course, Savage is going to try and match that, but it looks like he has let the wave go. So at the very least, you have the creep wave quite close to the off lane tower of the side of TNC. And in fact, we'll have another block coming out, so it's going to be very, very close. And at least you ensure that this Abaddon can get level 2 or 3 before he does get shafted. I think that should be okay for KP.
Yeah, that would certainly be a better story than the past few games. I remember a time we saw him stuck at level 2 at about, what, 4 to 5 minutes, which it's really a rough time. I think just the way TNC plays right now, there's a lot more emphasis on the other lanes than they're off, which really hurts KP.
Let's look at that mid lane. Armel should have a pretty decent time. Up until those later levels for Moon, he shouldn't really be able to apply that much pressure onto Armel unless he is out of position. Armel should essentially free farm this mid lane, at least for a few minutes, and it looks like he already has started. Though Moon will try to apply some pressure with that Ember. The Flame Guard has worn off now, so he'll have to run back. The Moon is still doing pretty well considering the circumstances. 7-7 on both ends of things. Meanwhile, Fnatic going behind the T1 tower of TNC. Looks like KP will do the exact same thing up in the off lane. Trying to pull the creep wave away from the side of Fnatic. He should be successful in doing so as well. There might be a little rotation from DJ to try and punish a bit, but ultimately he should get away with it. Though I say that, they are coming in now. Slow him down, KP. Gonna cop a bit of damage. Tims is gonna be there on the Earthshaker, but he is actually dropping quite low. They don't have the magic missile though, so they won't be able to perma-stun him up. He will barely get away with his life intact.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous amount of damage just from these 2 supports. The Wave of Terror along with the Blightstone and the tag team just means if you're not careful, you're going to be trading very unfavorably with just 2 supports. You didn't even have 23 Savage there.
We'll have a look at that bot lane as well. Gabby trying to apply some pressure onto Ice on the Omni. And March will follow up as well. Of course, this Omni is going to be fairly safe. Like, he can just sustain himself for multiple times in this bot lane. Just keep using that purification. He won't really be able to slow down Gabby too much though. So this DK should be getting some pretty good farm as well.
Yeah, and we have seen what happens when a DK does get a decent start. This is just going to be a farm trading lane. I think the key thing with having the Omni Knight in the offlane is that March on the Doom is not going to be pressured at all. So he's going to be able to play this greedy Doom just fine.
That's exactly what he was doing right now. He's farming up that jungle slowly. He'll get a pull off as well. Just wants to keep that creep wave next to his tier 1 tower. Don't make it easy for Ice. Gabby will just continue farming up the best he can. Top lane though, nice shards will come out from DJ and KP. Looks like he's got no way out of this one. Tims, he tried to get the Fisher out, but unfortunately nobody really got blocked off in the end. And DJ had already thrown the shards out prior to the stun proccing.
Yeah, it's that physical damage. It's just insane. Frost Arrows has bonus, you know, the minus armor is there from the Venge tag team. You just can't afford to overextend, which makes it very hard for KP to just walk up and right click. He's going to be punished every single time he's going to go for any last hit.
It's certainly going to be a bit of a struggle for him, but he's used to it by this point. He knows what he's doing. Over back to that mid lane, Armel has really started to take over in terms of last hits. 27 and 11 in comparison to the 16 and 1 of Moon. This was kind of expected. Again, the matchup does just favor Armel. But he's certainly taking complete advantage of it for now. Meanwhile, up the top lane once again, was a bit of a shard being thrown out onto KP, but he'll be okay this time around. Tims was there just in case. But Fnatic, they're doing a great job of allowing 23 Savage to just free farm this top lane. He's 27-7 right now on this Drow, and there's just been no real pressure applied at all. He's just doing perfectly fine. Though Moon will get taken down mid lane, but they will find the trade onto Armel. So nice rotation there from March on the Doom. Jabs will do the same and finds the trade. But Armel certainly will be a lot happier about that, as he did get the kill before he died.
Yeah, it's a much bigger win there for TNC, and that's one of the great things about having the Doom support. You just pop in the jungle. If you have anything like the Purge, which March does have, just go in after farming for a bit, find the kill. Really easy way to just get that lane going, and that's one of the powers of Doom. He grows big by just farming, and he can pop in any lane, depending on what creep he picks up.
He's got the Purge right now. He can apply a little bit of pressure on Ice if he wishes to, and that's exactly what he will do. Ice doesn't really have the mana to use Purification. In fact, March is going to continue chasing him down. He's not going to find the kill, but or maybe he will. He'll Purge him again. Ice does get the Soul Ring, heals himself up. March doesn't have enough damage to follow up with this after the Purification. But had that Soul Ring not come in for Ice, he basically would have been dead.
Oh yeah, and he's forced to Shrine up now as well, which is going to make it a bit tougher for Moon. He's not going to have that closer Shrine to help him out, so just a little bit more taken away from Fnatic there.
Yeah, but Moon's currently farming a lot of stacks in the jungle. I believe that might be a triple or quadruple stack. It's going to be a fair bit of golden XP going Moon's way, and it was something that he kind of needed. Was just falling a little bit behind in that mid. But he'll catch up now. Still, March going to show himself once again. Couldn't really get in range from that Purge. Will require Armel to get an LSA off if he does wish to close the gap. Though he is continuing to just keep vision on Moon, ensure they know exactly where he is. Moon will be perfectly fine though, as it looks like March will rotate up top, where Fnatic is again just taking over this lane, but now Tim's going to go for a Fissure, doesn't throw it out, couldn't quite get the block off. Fnatic, they will happily back out of there.
You know, there's something I want to point out. When you go for these stacks early on, like Moon, he went for that stack. That was before 7 minutes in, so it didn't have neutral drops. There's actually a trade-off to trying to get that catch-up farm earlier than 7 now, because you could potentially miss out on some early items that could help your cause.
Certainly. Was a bit early, but he may have felt like he just needed it. Still, certainly not the most efficient play from Moon, but I'm sure he has his reasons. Back at Gabby, he's got the Midas up now on the DK, so he's just planning to farm up for quite a while. It's a pretty decently timed Midas as well. It's about 7.5 minutes in when he got it. Well, you haven't been contested at all on the DK, so you can afford to do this. And if you look at the net worth graph, John, Gabby is at the top by about 3.6k.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen DKs just get a pretty good start. I think the fastest Midas we've seen so far has been about 10 minutes in, so 7.5 is pretty darn good for Gabby. He doesn't have boots up, but hell, he doesn't need him. Like, again, no contest down here, just him and Ice trading farm, and, well, Ice isn't trading favorably.
We'll see DJ rotating in now as the task. He's not going to make a play, he'll just put a ward down, keep vision on Gabby, but there was already a sentry placed there by March. That will get dewarded immediately by Gabby. We'll see Jabs now coming into the bot lane as well. They really want to try and shut this DK down a bit. Now, he is fairly tanky, but it should be enough they can just perma-stun him up. They'll get one. Shards are there as well, but he gets into that dragon form, and now the rotation's coming in. DJ, he's going to be in trouble. March should be able to help out, and he does. Finds the kill. And he's got the max Dragon Blood, John. It is very hard to get the damage out on this DK fast enough.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why you tend to not gank a level 8 DK. You basically just don't kill him. And that is a very rough gank coming out from Fnatic. They do feel the pressure. Like, they understand Gabby's gotten a bit too much in this lane. I don't think you have the tools to really slow that down at this point, although they'll try again.
They certainly will. Gabby just going to TP out of there, though. And we'll be perfectly safe. Moon was probably the added damage they needed. But unfortunately for him, he won't have the opportunity to go after the Dragon Knight. Still, they can go for a tier 1 tower now. The only person really there at the bot lane to defend is March, and they've spotted him out now as well. ISI is going to start making the chase. They get the magic missile off, and that should just be a dead March. Yep, certainly is. Moon will go ahead and pick that up, and they will transition straight into that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's a nice pickup for Fnatic. They do lose their tier 1 up top as well. We did see, I believe, Armel just walk up there to take that tower out. So an even trade in terms of towers, and I don't believe TNC is going to feel too bad about losing March. He does respawn fairly quick, and he has Doom of it now. So this is the point where TNC, with March, probably are going to be looking for solo pickoffs.
Of course, I saw Moon picking up a mango tree before. I wonder where he's placed it. Can't quite see it around the map yet. We did see yesterday, I believe it was, the mango tree giving full vision over the Roshan pit if you do place it next to the Roshan. But I wonder if Fnatic will take advantage of that or whether they'll put it somewhere else.
Oh, Doom on Moon.
Moon going to be in trouble bot lane. There is a smoke up top as well, but Moon getting chased down. They get the Fisher off, and that'll be a dead Ember. Still, though, top lane, can they find KP on the Abaddon? He does have borrowed time available, and well, he doesn't really have any help around, so it is almost a guaranteed death for the Abaddon. He's going to try and just juke him out, waste as much time as possible, but DJ will get the Walrus punch off. Still KP making a run for it, but they've got the stuns out. Can he survive much longer? Probably can. He's got the Aphotic Shield available, but they will burst that out. KP, though, still making a run for it. No. Does he really get out of this?
No.
It looks like he does. He gets tipped by Armel and he's out. That is very unfortunate for Fnatic. And he gets the outpost.
Yeah, no, that's a really bad sign here for Fnatic. Like, this is going to be the story of the game. If they can't kill off this Abaddon, who's had a pretty rough time, how can you hope to kill the other cores?
Echo Slam committed by Tims. He just locks down the Ember once again, and that's going to be Moon's second death in about within a minute. Not good news for Fnatic. It's going to make it a 4-3 now and a 2k net worth lead for TNC. And like you said, I mean, just judging by that kill kill attempt that we saw up top, it doesn't really spell good news for this dire side as 23 Savage now going to get dove on by KP. Fisher not there in time. They got the swap up onto Jabs. Jabs will go down for his trouble though. Can Fnatic punish? They're going to give it a shot. Gabby is just outrunning them. ISI still moving forward. Moon now joining in as well as the Ember. Though there's the LSA, and they will just walk out.
Yeah, it's a rough time when you're losing heroes like this. At the very least, they remove that pressure from the mid, so their tower is still going to be up for a bit longer. That does allow 23 Savage and Moon to farm much safer in that jungle. But the moment they lose this tier 1, it's just going to be much, much harder to get these two heroes farmed up. They're not quite there yet in terms of total net worth. They've got a lot more farming to do before Fnatic can start pushing back.
Certainly do. We'll see March pick up a smoke now. Just on the courier. Like TNC, understanding their advantage at this point, may go to push it further by going for a quick smoke attempt. ISI has to be very careful about his positioning here, but he does have teammates behind him. So they are going to try and push in that bot wave a little bit and maybe just take the outpost. Like that's exactly what they will do. So both teams just trading outposts once again. Because you want to have them prior to that 15-minute mark. TNC, at least for now, will just not smoke up. They'll just hold on to it. I imagine they'll probably go around that 15-minute mark and try to get an outpost once again. Perhaps just get some bounty runes for themselves. And it looks like Fnatic have the exact same idea. We'll see Jabs buying up a smoke, so we should have some smoke-on-smoke action very, very soon. Gabby, gonna see if he can snipe the tier 1 tower beforehand. Does pop the dragon form. Of course, he can just go in, continue right-clicking away. Looks like there will be a swap going on, though. They found March on the Doom, and they will kill him off very, very quickly. Still, Gabby is just going for objectives, though they swap him in as well. The Fisher was there to help, but Gabby, a bit of a sitting duck. There's the Aquatic Shield trying to help him out. He's still taking a lot of damage, but no. Ice will take him out. Now the shards are there from DJ to block KP out of his own side of the river. Borrowed time will give him the time to get out, though. So they do find a major kill in the form of the DK and March, and not only that, but they do force out March's buyback.
Yeah, it's a pretty big win for Fnatic. That's definitely something they needed. Now, that Dragonite was going to be a big issue for them. They still lose their tier 1 at the very least. Jabs does get the deny this time around, so the gold's not going there. The control given to TNC is pretty big, though. Like, they've only lost 1 tier 1. Fnatic's down 2 tier 1s now. So their jungle is just that much more unprotected without that mid-tier 1, and that just means TNC can definitely exploit that, which they have been doing quite well anyway.
Good news, John. I did find the mango tree. It is down to the south on that little cliff there for the observer.
Oh.
We call that One Tree Hill now. The mangoes. I'm not sure how they're planning to get those mangoes. Quite a delicious fruit. Fnatic will sort it out later on, I'm sure. Looks like Ice going to make his way back up top. Just push out that creep wave again. TNC, they have already backed out.
Another triumph.
Tims, does he have a blink dagger? Yeah, he does. He's got one on the way now on the courier, and that's going to be a pretty big item for Tims. Fairly early on as well at 16 minutes. And with that, I imagine March probably will pop the smoke, at least with this Earthshaker. Looks like Armel will join in on the Lina. Who are they going for? Straight up to the top lane. They want Ice. Now, that's probably the hardest target they can aim for, to be fair. But they have confidence in themselves. They get the Blink Echo off. Ice is going to TP at the right time. Jabs may not be so lucky, though. Maybe not. Tims, he gets the Fisher off. I thought he may have had a second, but not quite. Armel will give him the Laguna. But I suppose with Fnatic, you'd still be okay with the fact that you haven't lost your Omni. In fact, they are going to find Gabby, but they will miss the shards, so Gabby will just happily fly off.
Yeah, definitely not the smoke target they were looking for, but a kill's a kill. Just make use of his spells. They still have the slam when they want to use it. The blink has sort of been revealed if they did check the inventory, though.
Fnatic, we're trying to apply a bit of pressure towards that mid-tier 1 tower. We'll just leave the Drow illusions there. You have a look at 23 Savage's farm. It has slowed down quite a bit. He's fallen behind the DK as well as Armel on the Lina. Got the Yasha up as well as Dragonlance, but it's not enough to really help out in these team fights yet. He does need a bit more. Speaking of, though, Moon will go ahead and pick up the Maelstrom now, so he does have a lot more magic damage coming in on this Ember. That should really assist in this DK, at least trying to take him down, and they will go for an immediate smoke. Where do you go, though? Gonna go through that west side jungle of the Radiant. KP, again, not the easiest target to go for. They definitely want to try and find the backlines first. Armel, though, going to TP out. In fact, no, he cancels that off. Fnatic are waiting on the high ground. So it looks like they will not find the opening. Jabs' smoke has been broken anyway, and Fnatic, they are going to back off at least for now.
Yeah, the thing that gave Fnatic's rotation away was actually Ice.
KP gets stunned up. Gets chained up, still going to be fine. They swap him as well, but he has borrowed time available. Now the tag team pop. There's the borrowed time. Are they going to jump in? Guardian Angel's there, but Jabs is already dead to the breathe fire of Gabby, and now they doom the Omni up. They don't want any more shenanigans from this Omni Knight, and they will just try and burst him down immediately, and that's exactly what TNC do. Ice goes down. DJ just trying to get the hell out of there, but it looks like Gabby is not going to leave the man alone. He'll go for a snowball, but more importantly, they found the Ember. Moon goes down to Armel on the Lina, and Gabby is not done. He wants the beast. 23 Savage trying to make a run for it. Gabby will not catch him, but they will be able to apply perhaps a bit of pressure towards that tier 2 tower now.
They're still going.
Alright, let's just keep going. DJ, he's not done yet, but March will purge him up. Snowball gonna be there towards KP. Now Savage comes back in. There's a swap there onto DJ, but he's burning out and he does go down. Jabs, he'll go down as well. Savage did find a double kill though. He got the Doom. He got KP on the Abaddon.
You'll have to do better than
The
that.
Fnatic perhaps not going to be too upset about that. It's a fair bit of gold going to the way of their position 1.
Yeah, it's a decent enough situation out of a pretty rough time. At the very least, the kills did go to 23, but overall, you're not going to be happy about that. You lost your Ember Spirit. I'd argue that Moon should have farm priority at this point, like early on. He just needs to be online that much faster. Before the BKBs start flying out, before everyone else is just way too tanky for him to burst with his magical damage, he needs to be strong now, and he's not quite there yet. He needs a lot more gold. Those deaths definitely slow him down a bit.
Well, things will get a little bit calm between these two. We do set an 11-7, 5k net worth lead for TNC. Of course, the net worth has been their way the whole time. It literally has not been Fnatic's way once this game. Fnatic, though, may loop around and find Tims on the Earthshaker. In fact, no, they're looking to go for the Roshan attempt. And with the Drow, you do have a lot of... In fact, look at this. This is ridiculous. This Roshan, at 20 minutes in, dying to pretty much just the Drow Ranger. And TNC will have no time to react to this. The Aegis will go the way of 23 Savage.
Jeez.
A little bit too fast.
Yeah, nah, that... It didn't feel like a Roche at all. It felt like maybe a pretty big Ancient Creep. But that will give Fnatic a bit more leeway in terms of fights, in terms of getting ganked up. They have a safety net now on 23, so it's going to feel a bit safer as he still continues to build up.
This will at least buy Fnatic more time. Savage now, he has the Hurricane Pike up. Looks like he is going to go straight into the Butterfly next. In fact, he might have the Sange on the way, though. No, that's DJ's courier. The Savage is going to hold on to the Yasha, go for the Butterfly instead. It's fair enough. Looks like March isn't going for anything special. He's just going for a Solar Crest up next after the drums. Does have the Philosopher's Stone available, so you've got that added gold per minute going towards that Doom. It certainly helps the cause. It's Fnatic now. Gonna start forcing in that top tier 1 tower. TNC not going to allow this to go down for free though, as Armel will TP up. He does go into the Shadow Blade as well, and does find the Yules onto Moon. LSA though was too late, and it does allow the Remnant away from this Ember. He'll just go back down bot where he knows it's safe, and he'll start farming that up instead.
Yeah, it's a tricky one to catch an Ember like that. You really have to be on point with the LSA. Even then, we've seen that time and time and again where unless you have a really hard Swords of Lockdown, or if you really catch him by surprise, Ember Spirits just tend to slip away like that. So you'd want either a Hex, a Doom, or really just a long-range stun from the Shaker. Oh.
Swapped straight away, the Doom, no hope, he's gone straight away, but they found Armel as well. Fisher will be there from Tims to try and save his Lina, and in fact, do they have detection? Moon, they did dust him up. Armel trying to go for the TP, surely he doesn't get away like this, but he does! Oh, Moon, he didn't have the mana for the chains. Oh, that's a real shame. That was the main target they wanted. And now Fnatic, they go for an immediate smoke and try to surprise the side of TNC. Gabby was their closest target, but Gabby will run to the other side of the map. Although maybe he won't. He thinks about changing his mind. He may find him in this mid lane. You don't have any swap charges available. KP, he'll break the smoke. Again, this is a very hard target to try and go for. He does have borrowed time, and Gabby, he'll jump in with the Dragon Form, and now the Echo! Tims, he found all 3 of them. It's a lot of damage. Jabs, he'll go down straight away. The Guardian Angel will protect them for at least a bit. Armel just trying to get out of there. The Doom is there on the Drow, though. Savage, he'll lose the Aegis. Who do they go for now? It looks like they are going to stick to the Drow. Perhaps even DJ on the Tusk, and he will go down. Now Savage turns around. He he will get KP at the very least, and they do go for Gabby. Gabby just wants to get out. Moon still going. Gabby just going to try and man fight, but he does go down to 23 Savage. It looked pretty darn great with that Echo Slam from Tim's, but the Aegis from Savage allowing them to turn around and win that team fight.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good counter initiation from TNC. They did find 2 heroes, 3 if you count the Aegis, but it wasn't enough, and might have been just a bit too little too late. That was the blink reveal on Gabby as well. It's a good attempt, but they couldn't handle the Drow, even if they got her twice. I think the issue is, by the time KP finishes his borrowed time, he doesn't actually do as much as you'd expect, and everyone else is going to be soaking up that damage, so the issue there was fighting into the Ags. It just doesn't work out for TNC there, especially if it's on 23 Savage. Beyond that, that was some really good plays from both teams. Just the counter initiation and the counter initiation working out in the end Fnatic's favor. So that's going to give them some breathing room here. Does swing the net worth to their advantage, 1k. So they've got a little bit better of a better time now in the game. It's still fairly close from both sides. 13 to 12 at 25.5 minutes in. Both teams are really just kind of matched up here.
Oh, Savage gonna find KP in the mid lane. Moon will be there as well, and this time KP does not have help. Didn't proc the borrowed time as the silence was there from the Drow Ranger. And for the first time this game, Fnatic do now have the net worth advantage. It is only by about 1k, but it is certainly a great sign for this dire side. We'll have a quick look at that win probability, and it was the way of TNC by about 70%, but now you'll see that Fnatic have it by about 62% their way.
Yeah, it's at this moment where Fnatic is kind of stronger. I mean, you don't have the best farm on Moon, but he can really leverage his mobility and his slipperiness now, especially since he has a BKB. You've got Savage, who's pretty much farmed up. That Silver Edge just allows them to really burst down heroes like the Dragonite, even heroes like the Abaddon. As long as you get the silence off and the break off, he's not going to have his borrowed time available. So you've got all that working in Fnatic's favor now, and it's TNC's turn to kind of step back and rethink their game plan here. They haven't taken these big team fights favorably in a while, in a couple of fights, and I don't think we've seen too many Dooms coming out from March and Wild, so they've got to somehow find the right targets with their Doom and really leverage the fights off of that.
Top lane Moon, LSA gonna be there. Laguna straight away, and he just gets bursted. They'll find the Venge as well. Jabs cannot sustain the damage. And that's one of those plays you were talking about from TNC. They find 2 pretty decent pickups. Can they find any more? They'll force in that top tier 2 tower. Fnatic, are they going to try and stick around? Naturally not. They will run straight towards that mid lane. TNC though, do they stop? They've still got half the duration of that dragon form available. And the answer is no, they absolutely do not. They keep going. They've only got a buyback on Moon right now. The Venge does not have one. You've still got the Echo on Tim's. And that tier 3 melting so fast. They'll take it. Gabby, though, he's not done. He wants the melee racks as well. Savage trying to do some damage, but he's basically tickling this Dragon Knight. And that'll be 1 rack's gone. Just like that.
It's hard to take these fights without Moon. You really need Moon there. You need the Venge there to isolate one hero as well. And Savage does good damage, but it's not enough against 3 tanky heroes. He can't do all of that damage alone. He also needs the minus armor from Venge, the aura, and the tag team right in the middle, and DJ's not going to commit in a 4v5 fight.
You see Armel, he's got that Mind Breaker now up on the laner. So you've got that silence, essentially every 20 seconds. Very nice item for Armel. Shut down Moon, ensure he can't just get away, and of course Moon does have the BKB up now. And after that BKB is over, could be problematic for this Ember. He's Savage. Oh, he's got a lot of range now, John. Plus 400 bonus range. Seems pretty balanced on a Drow with the Vengeful Spirit. But that's exactly what Savage does get. And so he will be able to attack from an absolute mile away. We'll see how it all pans out as TNC, they've smoked up They run towards the bot lane. They know Moon's there, but Moon, of course, just going to try and back out before they get anywhere near him. We'll just remnant out to safety.
Yeah, they broke the tree as well. They did use the LSA on that ward area. So Fnatic's vision is gone from down there, which is a bit of a shame. They do smoke up. They are looking for the Roche, not quite up.
8 seconds.
Is up soon though.
Yeah, they're just a little bit too early. They need 5 seconds to have that Roshan up. And that's a real shame for Fnatic. They don't have the vision either, I don't believe. But they'll send a Centaur in. And now they will spot it out. Still though, TNC seem to be aware of this. They do make their way up top. They want to go for a 5v5 team fight. Moon trying to steal the outpost, but he gets stunned up. Gabby just moving straight in. Savage will get started on this DK, and he's actually melting quite fast. Gabby, how did he survive this? It looks like he can't, but he's still in there. He'll force staff out, but Moon's making the chase. Meanwhile, Armel trying to hold them back, but he cannot. TNC lose 3 already. They'll lose a 4th in the form of KP. And Savage is giving it to him.
Transcends expectation.
Tim's the only man to survive. He couldn't really get the Echo Slam off.
Refuse gold given.
And Fnatic can happily go for that Roshan attempt now.
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty good start for TNC, but Fnatic had a presence of mind to keep Moon safe. They do manage to swap him out before any real danger befalls him. March is forced to do him out. I believe it was Ice Ice Ice, and even that wasn't enough. Just taking Ice 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 away there, it meant that Moon could just do what he wants, and that was a big issue there as well. So you're starting to lose that potency in your lineup here from TNC. You've got to find these fights cleaner. You need to start depending on perhaps Tims to get a big jump in, although that is going to be a very tall ask, but it is going to be pretty easy in a high ground defense, I suppose. So Tims just needs to find a way to force these guys in a very compromisable position here.
Well, tier 3 gone. They should be able to find a Rax very easily for the side of Fnatic, and that is exactly what they do. TNC not even in position to try and defend. They'll throw out a Fisher, but that's all that's going to come out. As the Drow will leave some illusions behind, and they do back off to safety, where they can just go for that top shrine now if they wish. Looks like they are going to take it as well. And so we have a very even game now. 1 Rax for either side. TNC does have the advantage of 1 more range Rax. That doesn't really mean too much for the lanes.
Yeah, we're at that point where the game is starting to get a bit late. You do start to see issues coming out from TNC's side. Now, don't get me wrong, they've still got a lot of potency here. I think the key thing is that they're probably going to need a double Doom at some point. Maybe something to refresh on March once he gets enough gold. I think that's going to be the next priority after these utility items like the Force Staff. And, you know, maybe even the Solar Crest might come out, but I think the refresh is going to be needed here. Just double Doom out both Moon and Ice Ice Ice. That's going to be the key in these big fights if you're not able to get the ideal initiation. Otherwise, Fnatic should be able to outlast them now with Guardian Angel where it is and the BKBs flying out on the cores.
It does seem very important as well for that BKB to come out onto Gabby. I mean, if you want to get to that unkillable point, you're definitely going to need to block off all that magic damage coming in from Moon. And we'll see what Gabby does. He is queuing it up. Meanwhile, Fnatic trying to get set up for another team fight. Almost finding Armel. Savage will just casually take the tier 2 tower from the tree line. We've also got a Lincoln Sphere up on Moon, so it's gonna be you're gonna be very careful about that Doom. Make sure you break that Lincoln's first.
KP manages to finish up his Ags, so there is a little bit more durability in these team fights as long as KP does turn on borrowed time. Whether or not he does manage to get that off is a different question entirely. He's gonna have to jump in first while his team is around him to maximize that spell.
At the very least for now, they're just going to try and wait out this Aegis. Let it expire, don't give Fnatic that advantage. Fnatic still looking for an opening. Fortunately for them, TNC hasn't really given them one. And surprisingly enough, TNC, they go for a smoke. This is into the Aegis, but I believe they may just try and steal that outpost up at the northwest side. So no, they won't even go for that. They'll smoke again. Perhaps just gonna have to take this bot team fight, just getting ready for it. And Savage is gonna start applying pressure to that tier 3 tower. Savage moving closer, does cop a Fisher, but no follow-up to it. As he does just get the tier 3 tower with no contestation. No, Heavenly Grace will keep him safe. He just keeps going, and the rest of his team just stands back to no. They jump in. Gabby with the stun. Moon, well, trying to jump in, it seems like, on the Ember. Nice did pick KB up, and a very nice shots from DJ just holding them in. Now KB, though, falling very low, and he does go down. March, he'll throw out the Doom onto the Omni, but it doesn't matter. Moon just jumps straight into the middle of all this, goes for the backlines. It looks like Gabby is falling quite low on the DK and is going to fall. And they just don't have an answer for it. Tims, he just calls the GG. He couldn't even get the echo off.
They were just holding back a bit too much there, TNC. They needed to find a way to jump in. TNC were trying different things. They doomed up mainly Ice, which is the right idea. In this last fight, though, he already got the Guardian Angel off. So that doom was completely unnecessary. Tims, he was just trying to look for the biggest echo slams as possible, but I think at that point, it's just a bit too late. It just never came out, and it didn't fall together there for TNC. Fnatic, they do come out on top. There were some rocky moments there, and some really great times for TNC. But Fnatic just really shows up here. I mean, 23 Savage, 11-0.
Yeah,
he had a phenomenal time on a Drow.
Ty Prodigy himself just showing off in this game number 1. Of course, game number 2 will be coming up very soon, John, and to the viewers as well. So we'll be back in just a moment for that game 2 of this best of 3 series. It is MLP Dota and Dronix Fire. See you all again in a few minutes.